and Lithuanians. And I thought maybe the Latvians actually dominated. I don't know if you saw that there. This is very nice. And I think that one of the common things what we have in all these three countries, in Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, is that we don't have really trustable statistics on organic market. And that's why it's actually very good that someone, Helena and Johan, they took this or they pick up this lack of information, and they put together the first overview of all these three countries. And even there are probably some things which, from my point of view, need some correction, and I think that it's all developing, and I really do hope that you are going to do the same thing next year as well, or I hope this is the plan. Yes. So this is where, so I think that most of the people from Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, they can confirm that this is this lack of statistics about organic market is really the problem in all the three countries. And now when we are talking about the similarities, so I would like to ask the question of the main challenges. We heard actually quite a lot of challenges just presented by the Gediminas, and I think from my perspective, and as you mentioned in your presentation, that the third point what you were mentioning was the consumer, and maybe you told yourself that maybe this is actually could be the first one as the number one challenge. And then I think that Virginia,
yes.
What is your opinion?
Challenge is also the knowledge. The
knowledge, but not only the consumer, but the knowledge of the whole sector, like producer
and also policymakers.
Mm-hmm. And the policymakers as well.
Yes, to change.
I think that I must admit that this is also probably the main challenges in Estonia. But now we would like to have some Estonian, Latvians, Lithuanians, that maybe you can make your comment. What are the main challenges in your opinion to develop the organic, local, domestic organic market? Helena has the microphone.
I have the microphone. Come on now.
We have several Latvians. Maybe some of you.
We're so interested in hearing your views as well.
No. Estonians, Lithuanians. No one has an opinion about. Yeah, I think you should have everyone has actually opinion, but it's pity that you don't want to tell it to the other people, because I think this would help you in your work to develop your market reports. That
will basically help the organic development
as well, to discuss it and to see where are the similarities and where are maybe the sort of...
A comment from me there. We've been seeing that through the whole organic explosion in Sweden the last couple of years. Collaboration is the key number one. Mm-hmm. Collaborate with each other, because the market is still really small in these three countries. There is room for everyone. So that's a suggestion from me. Collaborate with each other. You know a lot of things. You're expert on different parts, and your competitor is an expert in another part. So collaborate.
Mm-hmm. So you see, and when you were visiting also all these three countries, then you see that actually this collaboration is one of the big challenges in the sector as well, in all these three countries. So it's not only the case of whatever the Sweden or any other country, but you saw it clearly. I think that it's also this was in also in Baltics. So maybe someone wants to give a comment on this challenges.
Maybe.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They can speak Lithuanian.
You can speak in your
Lithuanian or Estonian. We will
language.
Understand.
No, we really wanted to integrate with you, because of course there is a lot of knowledge out here, and during our trip to these three countries, we've gotten to know you and your point of views and your consumer insights, and of course coming as a foreigner to another country to locate the domestic market is always a challenge, but But like I said before, collaboration is the key to everything. So I think we kind of quickly got a overview, and of course collaborate together with each other is one area that needs to be improved in order to get this organic explosion moving.
Okay, so if we don't have comments on this question, then maybe we are talking about the development. We actually heard from Lithuanian side. I think that your presentation was you see the market development in very quite optimistic way, let's say.
Yeah, I would say I don't have the statistics. There is no official statistics, for example, from even, let's say, market auditing companies such as Nielsen. I don't know if they cover all the categories and they separate organics and they can report really the organics percentage of the market as it is done in Sweden, for example, when they do it with craft. So it's hard to say, but from what I base my understanding from talking to retail and from our own sales. Of course, we also only started last year, so in our sales base, like I mentioned, the milk products or the organic soups that we invented the new category, that one we can measure. So we measure our own sales growth and we see that market is developing. It is optimistic, even with the small numbers that we have, they are growing. So that is where my optimism is based on.
Yeah, okay. And if we are thinking that right now there is in Lithuania, you estimated, or I don't know, you were estimating that there is around 1% is organic in 5 years. What do you see? What do you expect?
Well, okay, let's take it simple. If it continues to grow around 10%, which is the growth average everywhere in Europe, so let's do the math. It would be 1.1, 1.21, 1 point whatever.
Okay.
So maybe it will be 2%.
Close to 2%.
If it is growing 10% per year, which is reasonable growth, right?
So
in any category.
You don't see that it is actually going to grow faster than 10%.
Okay, maybe it's going to be 3%, maybe it's going to be 4%, but there is, I think, another switch which can happen. A lot of products are being purchased, let's say, especially in the categories such as fresh vegetables. Yeah. People source it directly from farmers, people source it directly from their relatives who live in the country and so on. There's still a lot of habit of that kind of organic supply. And if people start trusting and buying more products in the supermarkets, then we see the change in statistics. Because I really believe that people consume, or at least what they consume as organic is significantly more than we can track it as a certified organic product.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes. You were a little bit less optimistic?
Yes, I was a little bit less optimistic. Maybe it's because of my main job in the certification body. But the thing is that we do not see the growing quantity of certified operators, and that I think that we also should work a lot with the producers, because they don't want to join this market, and maybe it's too complicated for them, and we have to also learn a lot for them just to come to join the organic movement and to develop the market.
And this is why you were actually so much stressing the education, that you actually meaning this education of producers as well, really not only the consumer awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Any other Lithuanians having the comment in 5 years where you are? Latvians? No opinion. Estonians, some of the Estonians should tell at least something. Priit, what is your opinion? 3% in 5 years.
3%. That's optimistic.
I
What
would
is the
say it
percentage
all
now in
depends
Estonia?
on how the industry and also together with the retail and then the certification system would collaborate together. How many campaigns about organic more values, and let's, for example, in the Swedish market, when the NGOs were taking taking the organic question into the big campaign. There was a lot of movement in the business.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not,
Yeah.
so it's a combination between this collaboration in the industry, but also very important when it comes to communication. Communication in a positive way when it comes to more values that are fairly easy found in the organic sector. So I would say it's a combination. So I'm a little bit more optimistic, but of course the first 7% is always a little bit slow. When it comes to Finland, we talked about this a couple of years ago.
Yeah, okay, yes.
We have Marja-Riita here, she's from Prolumo. And a couple of years ago we talked about this, how will the Finnish market develop? But of course, it's always a little bit slow before it takes off. And now you were up like 13%, right? Still from a fairly small amount, but still, you need to have the energy to keep going. And also, like you were talking about, Gediminas, you need to have a profitable business. You can produce the most environmental friendly organic product, but if it's not good, it's not going to sell. So it's a combination of all these things, I think. But I'm a little bit more optimistic than 3%. So
Yeah, but
let's see.
Yeah, I think that the Finland, the last 2-3 years, the Finland has been really doing well. So I think that we can have sort of objective that let's catch Finland in the progress, or let's try to catch up and then continue in cooperation and collaboration.
Because it has
Finland.
been done before.
Yeah.
So of course, you will take a look at the countries where the organic market really has took off. Denmark, Sweden.
Yes.
It's quite close by, so you don't need to invent the wheel again. So
Because my personal estimation of the Estonian market right now is around 1.5 to 2%. But as I told, that the statistics is very weak, but we will have a new study by the end of this year, and we'll see what this one is telling. And I think that maybe that what Helena has seen, that maybe, I don't know, this Lithuanian 1% is also coming actually, it's also estimated, it's not really the studies. And Latvia, what we're estimating, was also more or less the same percentage. So I think that we can have this common aim to catch Finland at first, and then
99 more shares to go.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe we are, yeah.
What do you think about how to reduce VAT for organic products? For instance, at the moment in Latvia we have 21%, but if we could have 5 or 7, I think it will reduce price, which is very important for organic. Secondly, we can reduce costs of those certification. You showed like big line of those certificates. It costs a lot of money. Again, if we will have one, then again price will be lower for organic product. And secondly, I think with retailers, they have bigger markup on organic products because of turnaround. Slower turnaround, and they should increase markup. I think markup for just regular products is around 30%. For organic, it's 50%. It's a big difference. And if you put together all those percentages, this organic product will be not in the same price as regular ones, but close to it. What do you think about my comment?
I think that this VAT, I'm going to make a first comment on this VAT. I think that this is actually a good idea, and this is we have been discussing it a lot in Estonia as well. And I know that in Latvia you do it. There was you recently did it for the just fruits and vegetables, right? And do you see that it has affected market? Or?
Yes, in long run, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, because this is when we have this discussions about this VAT, then we are now making this example that you see that okay, that Latvians they didn't do it for the organic, but they did it for the fruits and vegetables. So it is possible to actually do by the governmental policy. It is actually possible to support the sector in this way.
But
This
we
is
have
done
to
in the
have
UK.
a lot of and really strong arguments to do this, because other sectors they will complain why only organic, why not this. So we have to collect very strong arguments for our politicians to this. Actually, in Lithuania, I think in 2005 there's zero VAT for organic products, but
okay.
the market didn't move forward.
When it was?
I think in 2005, in the
Okay,
very beginning.
so it was at the
when
very
we joined-
beginning
when we
of
joined
the
European
development,
Union, yes.
and there was nothing
Yes,
to buy on.
nothing to buy.
Yes.
Exactly. And now we have to repeat. Yes,
Yeah.
but we already had this discussion with the Ministry of Agriculture, and they told that we have to provide really very strong arguments for this, because other sectors they can tell us why only organic, why not other, why not meat, why not other products and so on.
Your opinion?
Yeah, we should cooperate with the I think with the other policymakers, including in Lithuania. So only the Ministry of Agriculture is responsible for the organic development. How to say? Because they do not cooperate with other ministries, with health, with environment, with economy ministry. Because if we will make this the usual. And cooperation, as said Helena, yes, in this way, then we can move forward only in this way. Yes?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be able to comment the policy making nuances of how it's done, but clearly we have cases such as UK, I think, where they do have the lower VAT tax for organic, and we can see how it worked for that market. How it transformed, what was the trend after they did this. Obviously, it cannot be not visible. It has to be visible when you do it. And I would totally agree with the point about the margin structure for the organics, because that is a very painful question for every manufacturer. And from our side, we do everything we can to be efficient, and we have this vision to make the organic food affordable. And even in our internal sort of calculations, we say, okay, it can be 20% more expensive. That's already a psychological barrier for many people in any category. And of course, there cannot be in every category. There are categories such as organic eggs, for example. It's just so difficult to produce organic eggs. That's why it's so expensive. And that's why there is a shortage of supply of organic eggs anywhere in Europe. Because it's just very complicated and it's very expensive. But there are categories which it can really be at 20 or 30% only more expensive than regular product. And retailers, they will not do it without the industry push, and that we can affect. And retail competition as well. I think in Lithuania, a very good example is Lidl, which is doing very good in organics. And who would believe it? Before they entered the market, I was totally skeptic about it. When they said that Lidl is stronger on organics, I was laughing at it. I thought, well, it's a discounter. It will attract people who don't buy organics, and I was totally wrong. It's in ours also. It's one of our major customers.
Okay.
It is selling better than some other retail chains which are more premium than Lidl.
Oh, okay.
So
Yes.
that's a good case because they lowered the margin, and by doing that, they push the other retail to do the same. It's a healthy competition.
I think what we should, I think probably we have run out of the time already,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
it.
think that the one thing is also that really these margins, if we are comparing it to the Scandinavia or Germany, then if we are looking at the conventional organic products price difference, then there are a lot of categories where we have very high difference. For example, for the vegetables and fruits, there is very big difference between the conventional organic, as well as there are also some other categories where there is very big difference, and this is one of the challenges. But of course, it really needs also the communication and cooperation with the retail, the big players in the retail, let's say. And I think that concerning this VAT, we can do that. Maybe we can have some common discussion, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and see what arguments we could use. And if one of us will be finally successful, then it's for other ones easier to follow. Thank you.
That will be the final word. So many thanks that you did join us today. Many thanks from me. So for you